2, 1.
For the summary of the article, we're going to start with the experimental question and rationale. For the rationale, it was there were three different reasons. The first was to extend current literature addressing the use of punishment and stimulus control of punishment by examining the effects of verbal demands on vocal stereotypy. Another reason was to address whether or not stimulus control of vocal stereotypy could be developed through the use of positive or negative punishment correlated to an antecedent stimulus. And the last reason for the research was to address whether vocal stereotypy increased when no social consequences were present. This led to the experimental question of what effect does positive punishment have on the inhibitory stimulus control of vocal stereotypy. After that, we get to settings, materials, and participants. The setting was a section of the classroom. It was isolated, and the other children were removed prior to starting each session. And their assessments were done individually, even though they were twins. And it involved the therapist, the participant, and a video camera. The video camera was obviously one of the materials. It was used to record each session. And then also another one of the materials was a red card that when this red card was presented at the beginning of a specific session, it meant it was not time to talk about movies. And the green card, when it was presented at the beginning of the session, meant that there were going to be no consequences for any instance of vocal stereotypy. And the participants were two twin brothers, 8 years old, both in a classroom at a public school, both diagnosed with autism, and they had academic skills like 4 to 5 word sentences, spelling and repeating 3-letter words, and completing simple 2-digit addition and subtraction problems. And now we get to the independent and dependent variables. And the independent variable was contingent upon engaging in stereotypy. The verbal reprimand of no movie talk was delivered, which I described before is the red card. So when the red card was delivered, that was when the no movie talk reprimand was delivered. And the definition of stereotypy in this research was defined as repetitive vocalizing, echolalia, and acontextual speech. And specifically in this case, it was the boys repeating phrases from movies. The dependent variable was how did positive punishment affect the percentage of time each individual engaged in vocal stereotypy? And the experimental design was a non-concurrent multiple base across participants with a reversal and multi-elemental design in order to evaluate the effect of verbal reprimands on vocal stereotypy. The results for both participants, the percentage engaged in vocal stereotypy decreased, so it proved to be effective. And strengths and limitations were, one of the strengths was that it mirrored results from previous studies, which kind of talks about the fidelity and how it did go along with what other researchers had written about and studied in the past. And in one of the individuals, they used a no card session, which meant that there was no red card present, which meant verbal reprimands, and there was no green card present, which meant that there were no reprimands. I'm almost positive I said that wrong. I think you get it. Red card meant there was no movie talk. Green card meant nothing was said at all. And this addition of a no card condition was very effective in seeing how the behavior was changed due to the positive punishment. Some of the limitations were the fact that they needed more extensive history, constraints of time and space, and they did not use latency measures. The last one was that ARDS vocal stereotypy was typically lower in the green card condition in the treatment phase than in the green card condition in the baseline phase.